The Tesla Model Y L has been out for quite some time now over in China, and it's a very exciting vehicle because it's a true three-row SUV from Tesla that's more affordable than the Model X ever was. It's also something we've been eagerly waiting to see in the United States, but it is now shipping in Australia. And I'm currently in Melbourne on tour with Jeff Goldblum and the Mildred Snitzer Orchestra, playing drums for about 2 weeks across the country with him. So I had to seek out a Tesla Model Y L. I went to a Tesla store in Melbourne, and this was my experience with it. Overall, it's a great car, and I'm going to detail all of the special features this has and why it's the most customizable Tesla they have ever made. So let's get into it. At this point, most people are pretty familiar with the Tesla Model Y, and for good reason. It's one of the best-selling cars, if not the best-selling car, repeatedly each year in the entire world, for any type of vehicle. So this variation on it is very popular so far in markets it's already shipped in. So right off the bat, when you get into this car or see it, it's very clear. It's a Model Y. The front and back are very similar, but it's a little bigger, and it has some design cues that kind of feel pulled from the Model X, which makes sense because they share that teardrop shape. Up front, it definitely has an aggressive front end, and it kind of reminds me of the premium Model Y, but it is hard to tell it apart from the Model Y up front. The frunk appears slightly larger when you open it up than the normal Y, and it has the same drain plug and windshield wiper fluid setup. Around the sides, it's the same 4 doors, and it's very similar to the normal Model Y, and it has the same overall teardrop shape, it's just stretched a bit. The rear is where the hatchback trunk is, and you can see a built-in spoiler with an integrated brake light bar, and that's new versus the standard Y. It has a different badge on the back because it's the Model Y L, and it's about 7 inches longer overall with a wheelbase that's stretched at about 5.9 inches. Then it's a little over 1.5 inches taller, and the width is about the same. Pretty much everything else is about the same with a similar glass roof. Everything's just a little bit bigger. But when you go inside, that's when you really notice a difference. Up front, the seats are much more comfortable and more adjustable than the standard Y. It has an adjustable headrest up and down, and then adjustable thigh support. This is something that Tesla has added in the Model Y Performance, but it definitely supports your legs more as the driver and passenger in the front. The overall theme of this entire car is comfort. The materials are incredibly soft, and some of them feel a lot softer than the regular Model Y, just by touching them. This had the Zen Gray interior, which is a new interior that Tesla has introduced to replace the white interior option for this car specifically. It extends to areas that the white interior didn't, like door handle armrests on the doors, the center console, and the trim all the way down that area. This also has a black headliner. It looks a lot like cream to me, even though Tesla calls it Zen Gray, but I could say it's kind of like cream, just not quite as creamy. It has the same 16-inch center touchscreen that has become standard in the premium trims of the Model Y, and the center console is basically identical. The one change you'll notice here is that the wireless charger now has a cooling strip down the middle that blows cool air onto the phones on each side. So that's a real fix for something that Tesla owners have been dealing with phones overheating during wireless charging. Also, the driver's side charger is 50 watts and the passenger side is 30 watts, so that is faster than before. On screen, you have comfort and drive mode options, and one thing you can pull up here specifically is a dedicated setting for ride comfort priority. There are 2 options, balanced and rear comfort. The description on screen here says ride and handling priority. Adjust the prioritization of ride comfort and handling performance by optimizing adaptive damping suspension. For balanced, it offers the best compromise between ride comfort for all passengers while retaining optimal steering and handling. And then for rear comfort, this prioritizes ride comfort for second and third row over optimal steering and handling and first row comfort. I think that's a really good option there, and it's something specific to this trim. Now, real quick, if you're new here, this is the kind of coverage I do on every new Tesla and a lot of tech, as well as the latest news across the industry, so I hope you'll subscribe and hit that notification bell to see upcoming videos. Now, the second row is what really makes a difference here. It's a similar entry experience as a normal Model Y, but once you get in, it's noticeably different. One thing I do notice is the windows don't roll down quite as far as the normal Y, but there are white armrests here, a center screen, door back seat pockets, and USB-C ports. The 2 chairs there are captain's chairs, and this is night and day compared to the current Y for the second row. It's extremely reclinable, and everything back here feels soft and comfortable. I would love to sit back here in a road trip. It's just a super comfortable chair. It also has adjustable headrests, so you can adjust that up and down, and it scoots forward and back for more legroom or to make more room for the third row. Then there are retractable armrests in the middle, and these are electronic at the push of a button. That may seem unnecessary, but you get into the third row through the center pass-through between the captain's chairs, and I think that's why these armrests need to move in this way. Also, these seats fold flat at the press of a button on the side or from the rear, and that's great for cargo flexibility. On top of those seats, there are vents that come out of the center screen area and vents on the side pillars for the second row, and notably those side pillar vents are manual adjust. It just makes the airflow much better back there. These seats are both heated and ventilated, and this is the first time Tesla is putting ventilation in a second row in any of their cars. So again, these are just very comfortable second row seats. They're perforated in the second row and it supports that ventilation, unlike their other cars where those seats are perforated but not really for any reason. They're also heated. Then above you is that all-glass panoramic roof, and this is basically the same as the Model Y, but slightly bigger, and you can feel it. It feels taller and more spacious in general. Walking around out of that third row crouched doesn't actually feel that bad. In the regular Y 7-seater, you wouldn't even really consider this. Now the question that a lot of people have here, the third row. Well, my first impression with the hatch open makes it look like there's no room and that glass is about to close on top of me, but that's not actually the case at all. I got into this row with the second row seats in a pretty normal spot, and it still gave me plenty of legroom. One foot does feel a little bit cramped because it has to sit right under that second row seat, but the other leg can stretch out all the way down that center pass-through. I'm about 5 foot 10 inches, and I had 1.5 to 2 inches of headroom above me once I closed the glass. So when that's open, it looks like you won't have enough headroom, but the glass actually sits quite a bit higher than what you see there. Again, I had about 1.5 to 2 inches of headroom above me, and I'm 5 foot 10 inches. And that's in all the positions with the seat reclined in different fashions. Now these seats, again, are very comfortable. They have very soft materials, and it feels like you can actually kind of stretch out back here. Now, one caveat will be that I reviewed this after a 16-hour flight, so maybe I'm biased toward any sort of chair that isn't an airplane chair, but this is power recline, and it's not a huge amount, but it is nice that it's powered because it's fairly customizable and adjustable. It's a comfortable position. These are also heated, and there's no ventilation, which is why there's no perforation back there. There are some amenities for these seats as well. There are armrests with cup holders on each side, and then they each have their own air vent. Then there are 2 USB-C ports in the center of the seat. So every seat in this car has USB-C charging available very close by. Now this car was designed from the ground up for a third row, and there are airbags integrated specifically for these seats. In the Model Y 7-seater, I've always kind of wondered about safety back there, but it's definitely not an issue here. It seems like it would be very safe. Now, one interesting detail is that there's a beam right in front of you where the main glass roof transitions to the rear hatch glass. So you'll see sun coming down through the hatch glass above your head, but then there's the beam, and then there's the main glass roof that you can see through. Having glass above you isn't actually that beneficial aside from the headroom because you actually can't really see out of it. With that said, depending on the time of year and where you live, I could see a lot of people wanting some sort of sunshade for the hatch glass specifically, since the third row passengers are the closest to the opening of the glass, I guess. So yeah, for that third row, me as a full-size adult, I would say that I was legitimately comfortable back there, and I would be fine traveling for a decent amount of time in these seats. Only one leg was getting a little cramped, depending on the seating position of that second row. And if they could push forward a little bit for you to make a little more room, I think it could be pretty flexible. For a lot of people, that will be answering all of the questions they have about this car. But what I love about the Model Y in particular is how versatile the trunk space is. And it's basically the same type of experience here. The trunk with the third row up isn't quite as deep, but you still get a full-size understorage compartment or a sub-trunk. That is full size, and then there are 2 very large side cubbies that are notably deeper than the standard Y. A really cool detail here as well is that the sub-trunk cover magnetically attaches to the back of the third row seats. You lift it up to load stuff in, and it actually stays up there very nicely. And then you can drop it back down. That's a small detail of something I kind of wish they had on the normal Y. Then there's also a hook on the right side for different cargo, and buttons on the left side for power folding all of the seats from the rear individually. You can fold all 4 seats from that spot, and it folds all the way down electronically and all the way back up. None of these seats are manual fold, which I think is quite cool. Then when you fold the third row seats down, there's a slight lip, and you'll notice that when it jumps up to those seats. But Tesla built these little brackets into the subtrunk that flip up. You can see me doing it here. You flip these up and then put the subtrunk lid on top of those brackets. I noticed it works best when you flip that around. And then this makes that whole space flat, which would be great for car camping or any situation where you want to load in cargo and want that surface to be even. The second row seats fold flat too, as I mentioned, and you can see it here, opening a lot of room, and things can stretch all the way down. But I will say the one caveat here is that if something is long, it won't get any support in the middle between those second seats. Then stuff might shift toward the second row seat backs, which are harder plastic and could get scratched. And things also would fall down into that middle gap. Ryan Cohen from Australia made a good point in his video that Tesla should make an accessory that stops cargo from flying forward in this mode, and I do think that is something that would help a lot. Again, like I said, you can fold these seats back up with the touch of a button, and the only thing you do have to do manually is flip up the headrests for the third row. So looking at this, as well as the adjustments Tesla has added to the first and second row of this car, I would say this is the most versatile, customizable, adjustable car Tesla has ever shipped. From the outside, it looks a little larger than the Y, but not that much. But when you get inside, it has a ton of extra stuff and a ton of extra space. From the front screen, you can also control the folding of the seats and dial in their positions, and you can adjust second row climate and see third row climate as well. Now, when it comes to driving this car, test drives are not available to the general public yet in Australia, so I was only able to check this out in the store. I spent about 2 hours with it, just trying every different type of seating scenario and more to get a full picture of what this car really is like in practice. But once you drive it, it's dual motor all-wheel drive as shipped today, and it has about 507 horsepower. It does 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 5 seconds, roughly a 0 to 60 in the high 4-second range, just before 5, and then top speed of 135 miles per hour. It has an 84 kilowatt hour battery, which is quoted at 681 kilometers of WLTP range in Australia. So for the US, we could expect that to be about 340 to 355 miles of range, basically in line with what the Model Y has, and they only increased the battery size a little bit to get that done. This of course supports full self-driving and Tesla's standard software, but the suspension is particularly updated here. It's tuned further for comfort specifically in this car than Tesla has ever done. It has adaptive dampening and again is just tuned more than the refreshed Model Y. This car starts at 74,900 Australian dollars, which would convert roughly to about 53,600 US dollars if there was a direct conversion there. We'll see what Tesla's price ends up being in the US, but that does seem like about where this could land. In Australia, you're definitely paying a premium to get the Model YL, which makes total sense. In general, what I expect, and based on other reviews, is that this feels a lot like a Model Y when you drive it. It's just noticeably larger. Not really in a stance way, but body roll will increase, but shouldn't be too much crazier. And then you'll still feel very planted, and this car will feel easy to control with great handling. The times you'll probably notice it's a larger car the most are when parking and stuff like that. Now overall what this showed me is that Tesla needs to bring this to the United States, and I have no idea why they haven't done so yet. One was recently spotted on the road in North America, so it seems like hopefully they're in first testing and we will be getting this soon, but this is a car that would absolutely destroy in the US market. It's one of the first Teslas that feels unambiguously luxurious no matter which row you're in. I'd actually personally get one of these if I could. I don't usually need a third row, but occasionally I might, and I really like how flexible this car is. It has more cargo space, much more comfort for second row passengers, and I'd love to road trip from that second row, as I mentioned earlier. As a driver, you get a couple of improvements up front, but largely it will be the same experience, the same screen, the same steering wheel, the same view, the glass roof above you, and a little bigger of a car. So it will feel a little more spacious, but not massively different. But my prediction is that this will sell incredibly well in the US, including to a lot of people who don't actually plan to use that third row, but will have it there if they need it. I think we're going to find a lot of people, even if they're the driver and won't be really experiencing the rest of the car, will just prefer to get this one. Now with all of this said, a couple of questions I'm still wondering about are what it's like to sit in the third row on the freeway, especially from a noise level perspective, and then comfort. How does that rear comfort dynamic setting actually feel in the real world? Then I would love to do a full test of the sound system from every seat and feel how comfortable that suspension is to use daily. Tesla has hinted at bringing something like a cyber SUV to the US, and Elon recently talked about something much cooler than a minivan coming to the US. Nothing says they won't bring this to the US, and I think we will see it quite soon. Whatever version lands here, it's going to do incredibly well, and this just is a no-brainer. Overall, Tesla knocked it out of the park with this car, and if you're in the market for a family EV and have been waiting for a 3-row Tesla that actually works, this is it. It's just a question of when it will be released. That's all for this video, but in the meantime, if you want to see my full review of the Model Y as it's shipped today in all 3 trims, I drove them all, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.